Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over a couple of different strong competitive moveset builds that you can teach on your Houndoom in the second generation Pokemon games and how you can obtain these moves to get them onto your Houndoom. So to start off here, Houndoom is a dark fire type, leaving it immune to psychic, resisting dark fire, ghost, grass, ice, steel, and then it's going to be weak to fighting, ground, rock, and water. In terms of its numbers, its special attack is its highest number up there at 110. Also, respectable speed at 95 and attack at 90, special defense at 80, HP at 75, and then its defense is its weakest number there, down at just 50. So the first build that I'm going to be going over is probably considered the better of the two builds, but it is going to take a bit more work to get this build than the other one that I'm going to go over after this. But to start off here with move number 1, it's going to be Crunch, 20% chance to lower the target special defense by 1. It is a dark type move giving that same type attack bonus. It goes off of the strong special that Houndoom has, and it's 80 power, 100 accuracy. And this move is straightforward on Houndoom. You can pick it up through leveling up, grabbing it at level 52. The next move is Fire Blast, 10% chance to burn the target, another same type attack bonus going off of the fire typing, a special category, 120 power, 85 accuracy. Now, Houndoom doesn't learn this through leveling up. If you wanted to, you could slot in Flamethrower, which isn't as powerful of an attack, but it does have higher accuracy. If you want to go the Fire Blast route, that's going to be TM38. And TM38 Fire Blast can be found over at the Goldenrod Game Corner for 5,500 coin. So now this is where things start to get tricky with this particular build, and that's getting Pursuit, which is fairly straightforward in terms of an egg move, but Counter, which is also an egg move, is going to require a bit of chain breeding before you can finally eventually get it over onto your Houndoom, and I'll go through the steps that you would need to do to pass that move down. Pursuit is going to be a strategic move. If you can predict a switch out of your opposition, its power is going to double. And again, being a dark type, you get that same type attack bonus, 40 power, 100 accuracy, but that power is doubled on the switch out. Whereas Counter, if hit by a physical attack, returns double the damage. And the reason why this is a nice move to have on your Houndoom is the fact that since you have a low defensive number, you're oftentimes going to have an opponent that's trying to use physical type attacks on you. And when you can predict this, using Counter can be very effective in going against that opposition. And when we look at the breeding information for Houndoom in the second generation games, we can see Counter has this little asterisk right here. That means you have to chain breed it. And you can either do this with the Nidoran or the Rhyhorn line. And I'm going to be going through the steps that you would need to take to get Counter eventually onto your Houndoom. But also I just want to quickly talk about Pursuit, which you don't have to chain breed. We're going to be targeting this on Eradicate, because Eradicate can also breed with either the Nidoran or the Rhyhorn lines to get that Counter move. So if you have the father being Eradicate and it knows Counter and Pursuit, then it can pass it down to a Houndoom through breeding. But now I want to go through the steps that you'd need to take to get Counter. So it starts with Heracross. In the second generation games, it learns Counter through leveling up at level 27, and it would have to be the father. And then going to Paris, who can learn the move Counter through breeding with Heracross. And then that Paris knowing Counter can breed with the Chikorita line. And then the Chikorita line knowing Counter can pass that down to Nidoran as well as the Rhyhorn line. And then that takes us over to Eradicate, who can learn Counter through the Nidoran or the Rhyhorn line, depending on which one you choose. And then eventually that Eradicate that now knows Counter, and then you level it up to learn Pursuit, can pass both of those moves down to your Houndoom. So that's how you go about getting those two egg moves onto your Houndoom to round out this build. And I also want to touch on this second build, which is a little bit more straightforward and probably easy to get than that first build that I just went over. So it shares the moves Fire Blast and Crunch, which I already touched on in the previous build. Moves 3 and 4 would swap out those egg moves, instead getting Sunny Day as well as Solar Beam. Sunny Day is going to boost the power of your Fire Blast, and it also allows you to use Solar Beam without charging for a turn. Sunny Day is going to be learned through a TM, and this is going to be TM11. And TM11 Sunny Day can be found over at the Celadon department store on the 3rd floor for 2,000. And then Solar Beam, of course, not having to charge for one turn makes this a very useful attack with 120 power, 100 accuracy. And Solar Beam is going to be TM22. It's found on Route 27. And this is where Route 27 is located in the Gen 2 games. And if we go over to map on Route 27, it's going to be south of this bridge. And you need to know Surf, of course, to surf across the water, as well as Whirlpool to get rid of this Whirlpool. And then it's going to be down in this area where you can pick up that TM for Solar Beam. And that rounds out this second build. And both of these builds are going to go off of the item Leftovers. At the end of every turn, the holder restores 1/16 of its max HP. And in these second generation games, you can pick up Leftovers from Wild Snorlax from a trash bin in the Celadon City restaurant, and through repeatable methods by trading over either Wild Clefable or Wild Snorlax from the first generation Pokemon games over to the second generation games. And that's going to wrap up this video, touching on 2 different strong builds that you can go with on your Houndoom in the 2nd generation Pokemon game. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, and I'll catch you back here next time.